Well, that was quite the night on a number of fronts. Quite the week, quite the summer. It has been a great ride thus far. Just went and got a little car wash this morning. Little car wash, Addie and I and Ava and Ollie. Mommy went to the barn earlier this morning, waiting for her to get back. We're going to go get some lunch. I believe lunch. We're trying to agree on what meal we're going to have. Technically, it's still breakfast time, although McDonald's, you can't get breakfast right now in the States, so technically it's not breakfast time. We'll work it out. We'll sort it out in a democratic way.
In the meat place?
No. So what went on that made me so happy last night? Now, many of you saw the races. Many of you know that we had stake races going in. Now, I didn't know how any of the horses would be. I thought Slim Jimmy was a pretty good bet coming off the way he raced. Yeah, hold on. Was a pretty good bet. What's wrong? You want out? Okay. Not out of the car, though. Just out of your seatbelt, okay? There you go. I thought that Slim Jimmy was a pretty good bet going into last night, considering how he raced the other day. Will you guys let her play that tablet for a minute? But you never know. I get to the track. Now, I had mentioned to the blacksmith going into the week.
Ollie, give it to Adam.
I had mentioned to the blacksmith going into the weekend that, Ollie, right now, that I thought a couple of horses might need a little more cork, especially I felt that Of Tom especially was slipping a little bit going into Oliver and Ava. Going into Scioto, I thought that she was slipping a little bit. She had the 9 holes, she got roughed up. It was really hard to tell. I like what you did with your hair today, or didn't do with your hair. Mainly maybe brush it. So Of Tom, I wanted to get her corks tipped up a little bit. You'll notice the little munchkin in the back right there no longer has that big fro that he had going on. We had that lopped off immediately, first of the week. So, Of Tom, here, I get the sheet, here you go, all right? Don't make a mess. Of Tom, I wanted to get corked up a little bit, and we weren't able to get a chance. Blacksmith wasn't there, he couldn't come Saturday. Then it rained so hard on Saturday, usually what they'll do is scrape the track. So I'm thinking, hold off on the cork, the track's gonna be hard as a rock. And they didn't. They scraped it a little bit, but the track, well, you guys saw the races, right? All the races. 2-year-olds were on the run everywhere. Now, ours behaved, I think partially because it was their home turf, and partially because they're well-behaved animals. I would like to take some of the credit for it, but I won't. I think they were just well-behaved. They behaved very well and raced very well, but the track was very deep, especially in the first turn. So it was too late at that point. I had reversed my decision, knowing that they were probably going to scrape the track. I said, that's enough cork for a hard track. I don't think it was, but she raced great. She raced fantastic. So, got to the track. We had a couple of horses racing in Ontario. I always try and keep an eye on James's drives. He's doing so good right now. From time to time, I'll switch over and watch him race. And then, you know, my brother Mark had a lot of big races last night, namely the Meadowlands Pace. So, a lot for me to take in last night, but I had to focus on what I was there to do also. We raced Of Tom, third, very close, just beat, not just beat, she was beaten third, but at the same time, you could see what took place. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but Of Tom, she might get to the quarter quick, but it's all the turn. For a big, lanky horse, she trots the turns like she was on a rail. She kind of floats out of the gate, and then as you get into the turn, that's when she explodes forward. Now, I saw the horse on the front end putting in steps. I know the track is deep going in. I'm going to gamble that fellow right there, the long shot, one of two things. One, he may or may not let me go. But two, I think there's a good chance he's going to make a break. I push forward. Just as I make my mind up, he makes the break. I get a full head of steam coming at Mike Wilder, but he doesn't get out of the way quick enough. He just kind of nonchalantly floats to the outside. I almost stepped on his wheel with Of Tom going around the turn. Mike Wilder's no dummy. He knows what's going on, right? We both think the same thing. Probably Chris Page either is on the run, which is good for us, which I knew he wasn't. I could hear him. He's right there. Or he's probably going to quarter pole to the front. So you want to be on the front, cut the favorite loose. Now that didn't happen the way both of us were sketching it out in our heads at the time, but he just didn't want to let me go, and I don't blame him. So he pushed through. Had that guy get out of the way quicker, I would have had a full head of steam, and I think I could have put the full court press on Mike Wilder, and he would have had to let me go. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Either way, now I'm relegated to the 2-hole. I get in the 2-hole. This is a big giraffe. She's not really a sprinter, but she's a very good filly. So now I'm in the 2-hole with Of Tom behind Mike Wilder, but Chris Page doesn't come hard. He comes slow, first over. So I'm thinking, geez, you know, if these guys wipe themselves out, who knows? I might get a crack at them, and I did. Fair and square, beat 58-4, 29-1 in the end of it. Of Tom raced huge, huge. Yay. But now I have, and Ollie likes Of Tom as much as I do. So now I have a decision to make. There's a lot of good fillies out there. Do we drop Of Tom into the Buckeye for the least, if she wins 1 or 2 legs, which I think she can, that puts us in line for the grassroots final potentially, and we've picked up points now. We may make the consolation for the Sire Stakes. We can do that here in Ohio. So that's what I'm thinking also. That's kind of where I'm leaning, to be honest. I was very pleased with the way she raced, the way she behaved. Such a professional, you know. If you don't love the way this filly looks, behaves on the track, then you don't like horses. She is exceptionally beautiful to watch trot. She has got one of the nicest, most fluid gaits I've seen in quite a while on a horse, and she's a treat to drive, to be honest. So Of Tom raced good. We come right back with Slim Jimmy. Now, I know the horse on the rail won in 56-3 his last start, set a season's mark for 2-year-olds in North America on a half-mile track. So, nice horse. I'm going to put it on him in the first turn if I can with Jimmy. He blasts out of there. I blast out of there. The other horse to beat is Brady Brown. He blasts out of there. Slim Jimmy, he ain't making any breaks. I'm almost positive now. So I go out of there, and I push Aaron a little bit. And Aaron, I could see Aaron's horse putting in steps, and I kind of growled at Jimmy just as Aaron made a break. I don't know if I did that or whatever, but it doesn't matter. Aaron's horse made a little bit of a break. I look over. The other horse to beat is on the run. So I'm thinking to myself, unless Slim Jimmy has a coronary at some point, we're going to the winner's circle. And to be honest, I get up there 28-1. I said, Jesus, that's kind of quick. I thought I had him backed up pretty good. 58-2. And I mean, it felt like I walked him over to the half. I just let him trot down the backstretch, put him in gear. Season's mark for 2-year-old trotters in North America on a half-mile track. Kelly had posted it later, which was kind of weird. Ollie, sit down, honey. We have the 2-year-old colt and the 2-year-old filly mark on a half-mile track for trotters, simply because Garden State DL qualified in 56-1, but she hasn't made $1 yet. She made a break in her only lifetime start. A little side note for her, in Ohio she'd have to qualify, in New Jersey she'd have to qualify in overnights, but in Pennsylvania she does not. So it wasn't until late last night it dawned on me we can actually race Garden State DL rather than qualifier. So that's exactly what we're going to plan to do. But full disclosure, the preference will go to tie one on this week. Well, 1, by dates, and 2, the fact that she has, this is a prep race for the Arden coming up for her. It looks like, much like the Amordiner situation, she may have to race in an open maiden, but, you know, as fast as she is, if she behaves. Can you stop, please, young man? As fast as she is, I don't think it's really going to matter. If she behaves and does her work well, it won't be a problem. So, super happy with the racing I was having. Now, I warmed up Purple Aura. It was funny. Purple Aura is a literal, real-time work in progress. Oliver, stop pushing on the seat, sweetheart, please. Right now.
I'm not pushing on anything.
Well, then what the hell's my seat doing? It's like massaging me or something.
I know, it's vibrating.
Okay, I guess. Purple Aura, as I said, a real-time work in progress. I know I get messages from a lot of people, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? You have no idea how complicated and intricate this filly can be. I trained her the other day. She trained pretty good. Had the belly band hobbles on her, and she ran late in the stretch. Get those off that window, young lady. Next up, we put the trotting hobbles on them, raised her right up to her belly. Watch the video. Raised her right up to her belly. She still run all over the track in the warm-up. Now, I'm going into a Sire Stake event with the worst post on the track with a horse that just warmed up. Terrible. You guys don't know that. Jim Hassel does. He was there. He come over and he says, I don't know how you did it. I don't know how she warmed up that bad and raced that good. We made a few little changes. a few little changes with her equipment in between, Ollie, in between the warm-up and the race. Just a few. And my God, what a difference. Post-braided the filly. You wouldn't think, for the people out there that say, it's not that, knee boots, not knee boots, vet wrap, not vet wrap. You don't know. You don't know what 2-year-old trotters are like. I don't know what the hell my seat's doing here. It's mugging me.
What does that mean?
It means Anthony's getting angry. I don't know what the hell I just did. But my seat is being a little invasive right now. So Purple Aura, we took the knee boots off her before, had taped her knees up. We know she's going to touch her knees, but I figured the tape that we had put on her knees would be sufficient enough protection for her last night. And I know it's so nice. You know, our caretakers care so much about the horses. I know that Shelby, who takes care of Purple Aura, sometimes maybe doesn't understand why we do things. And in a real world, you would think, protect the horse as much as you can and the horse will race great, but it doesn't always work that way. She's got knee boots and bell boots on. Now, she needs the bell boots, I believe, for the weight and just the way they allow her to move. And sometimes when, as a driver, and if you're a driver out there, you'll know what I'm talking about, bell boots and knee boots is a no-go for most drivers, because what'll happen is they'll strike that knee boot with the rubber on the bell boot, it'll catch, and they'll put steps in. Now, we've seen her put those steps in, and I'm thinking to myself, that's why she's putting the steps in. We taped her knees up and she still put the steps in. So I was perplexed. And I told you she was touching on the inside of both her back feet, which is so rare and so odd. And I couldn't even see where she was doing it. So we didn't go to scalpers. We went to bell boots behind. So she literally went on the track with 4 bell boots, a bell boot on each foot last night, which is so rare. We went back to vet wrap under the boots, and I could tell in the post braid when I scored her down, different horse. This is a horse that ran all over the track an hour before. 1 hour before when I warmed her up. Ran all over the track. And now she's doing her work absolutely perfectly. It's shocking. But that is the difference between the minor differences between equipment changes, especially on a 2-year-old trotter. So you saw Purple Aura. Now, I think the slowing pace, she'll put her steps in and get out of gear right in the middle of the straightaways. I still can't put my finger on what she's doing. She must be, obviously she's hitting. I just don't see where. I just don't see where. So, but she looked great last night. Different horse last night, trotted to the wire. That was, you know, the horse on the front beat her fair and square last week, and now got everything her own way on the front end. It was going to be exceedingly difficult to catch her, and I couldn't. But Purple Aura raced so good, so professional. I said to Shelby, I said, listen, and the owners were there, some of the owners there, I said, I'm going to tell you I'm going to race her from off the pace, but I know halfway down the stretch she's going to bury her nose right in the wing and want to get out of there. She's so handy. You know, just let her trot right out of there. Drop her in the 2-hole. If you watch, I was like glued to Aaron at the quarter pole with Of Tom. They're just so professional, and it has to do with the way we train them down. Hey, relax, you. The way we train them down and the way people do. You know, the guys, we talked about this, and I'll talk to you more specifically about a horse in general, in particular, later on in a couple of minutes. But, you know, when you talk about the way that Johnny, James, myself, Mario, Harry, Jason's crew, the way we train these horses down and the work we put into them is what's evident on the track. And I was so proud last night to see those horses race as well as they did. Now, as I said, I was watching. James had a good night. I'm watching Mark. Meadowlands Pace comes on. We're done racing. I'm sitting there with bated breath, and I know I talked to Mark an hour before the races, I believe yesterday, and he told me he thought he had a shot with Ian Moore's horse. He thought that he had a shot. So I'm hoping. I know that 1-800's in there. I know that, you know, the Sting horse on the rails, a very good horse. So I'm curious what's going to happen. You know, Mark, you could see him leaving the gate. He's trying to size up what everybody's going to do, and then he decides, push to the front. Everybody's looking to see what Tim Tetrick's going to do, right? Mark pushes to the front. Out comes Dave Miller again with the Sting horse. And all of a sudden, the 7's in trouble. You can see on the video what happened immediately. Broke a hobble. What a time to break a hobble. Oh, my God almighty. In the final of the Meadowlands Pace. So 1-800's out of the race. Around the last turn, it's a yard sale. You know, it's hard to, in real time to look at that. What happened? You know, Brett Miller went to, it looked to me like Yannick Gingras' horse was pounding his knee first over, maybe get out of gear, maybe Yannick said, hey, and Brett took that as, it's pouring rain in the mud also, maybe Brett took that as a, you know, be careful type thing, and went to move around the horse, looked like he might have struck Yannick's wheel. When he did, he put a step in, chain reaction behind him. So who's at fault there? You can make an argument that it was Yannick, but Yannick would have to literally go to the phone and say, yeah, my horse was rough, I roared leg out, Brett come off my back, got out of gear, now it's Yannick's fault. Now he's fourth disqualified. That's likely not going to happen. So they blamed it on Brett and tossed him. But the horse that finished second, my brother Mark, just got up in a photo. And in fact, when they first posted the results, it was 9-1-5. Mark for third. And then they changed it. It was so close. No, sorry. It was 9-5-1. Which meant a big thing because the inquiry was on the 9. So Mark wins the race, comes back as he always does, very humble. You know, felt bad for Brett, but at the same time, that's racing. And I was so proud of my brother. You know, you guys, for those of you who, and we have a lot of clients that don't follow racing that well, maybe don't know the history, maybe don't know my family. Mark McDonald is an infinitely better driver than I ever could be in 5 lifetimes. He has always been incredibly talented. This is a guy that broke every bone in his face and set a driving record in Canada that year. Right? During that year. To the point where, and I tell everybody this story, when I went to visit him in the hospital, I didn't know it was him. I told the nurse at the front desk, that's not my brother. That's how badly swollen his face was. He broke his orbital bones, crushed his nose, had to have an operation. So he went down and got smashed in the face.
By what?
By a horse. Hit the track, and a horse ran over him, broke almost every bone in his face. His jaw was wired shut for 3 months, I think. And the second he could go back racing, he did. And I'll never forget it because, and this is a side note, but I'll never forget it. I'll tell you how tough and how durable Mark is. You know, you guys know, I broke my wrist. Who cares? It's not a big deal. It's your wrist. Mark broke every bone in his face, almost died. And I know everybody was watching him, you know, because that changes you. You know, when you get in a situation like that, that changes you mentally. And everybody was watching to see what Mark McDonald would do, and he knew it. He knew they were. In the very first race, and it was freezing cold, and it hurt his face so bad because it was so cold in Flamborough. And I remember the race. My baby girl. He blasted that horse out of the gate 100 miles an hour, as tight as he could lay his legs, just to let everybody know I'm not scared to drive horses. And it was something else. And I like to win races, and everybody does, but guys like Mark, and he is a top-level driver, not because he's my brother, because he is. Guys like Mark are just a cut above, and James is right on his heels. So, so proud of my brother last night to watch him win that race and do it in such convincing fashion, because this game is tough, right? If you don't get good clients and you don't get good horses to drive, this game will grind you into dust, into thinking that you're not good at your trade, you're not good as a driver, that maybe it was luck, maybe it was the horses, maybe it wasn't you. And I know everybody that you go through that in your life. And Mark showed again how durable he was as a driver. Just a great drive and a little bit of luck to be placed first. Obviously horrible luck for the owners of the Ohio bred horse Charlie May. Ohio needed that, but regardless if he's placed or not, Ohio put themselves on the map again last night, and the future is bright here in the Buckeye State. So, unfortunately, Brett Miller lost. Very fortunately for my family, for Mark, he got placed first. And, as always, a very humble and wonderful interview. So, good for Ian Moore, good for Mark. Very happy with them. Just super excited about the stakes wins we had last night. And the year we're having is it's just going by so fast. It just runs over me every night. And it isn't until you're sitting at night saying, geez, I flew to Saratoga and won that Sire Stakes. We won a Sire Stakes last night in Ohio. Bomb Huggers picked the win on Wednesday in her second Sire Stakes. This filly, by the way, is still undefeated, in case you're wondering, at least in pari-mutuel events. Just so proud of what is going on here for the stable.ca. And then you know, we had a little bit of some good fortune, depending how you look at it. Mischievous Rose was purchased the other day, a fairly extensive and expensive purchase, but it sends a message to the industry. One, we develop good trotters from all different financial angles. Sit down, sweetheart. From all different financial angles. And two, our horses can compete with the best. And three, we will sell them if we get the right amount of money. And I think that's important. I know a lot of people may not want to hear that, and you know who I'm talking about. You know, there's a lot of people that just love this game, love the horses, and definitely don't want to sell. But at the same time, even though this isn't a return on investment situation at the stable, this isn't a great investment opportunity. Quite frankly, it's a poor one. But once in a while, sun shines and dogs are everywhere, so it's good. It's good. It's good business sometimes too. Not just for us, but it sends a message to the industry. So I think all in all, an unbelievably good week for the stable, and most definitely for the McDonald family. So, what's wrong? What happened? What's your bone? I don't know. Oh, hot. Yeah, just hold on, sweetheart. Just hold on. I'll turn the AC on. It's getting hot in here. Probably all my talking. So, Bomb Hugger was exceptionally good so far. Amor Diener going into Wednesday. Mark McDonald is going to go drive Amor Diener and Rose Above It in Philadelphia on Wednesday. That day I'll be at... Stop. Can you let her play with it? Turn something on for her. Amor Diener will be in Philadelphia. I'll be in Batavia with Bomb Hugger. We have Grace. She'll be qualifying Tuesday. A lot of people said, why isn't she in to go? Because we don't want to push her. This is a filly. Hey. This is a filly that's exceptionally talented. She's a small filly, but she's a good horse. And there's no need to stress her saying, oh, we need to put her in an overnight. We'll put her back in the gold at Grand River. But, and I know there was some of our clients that really maybe said, Grand River, I think she's built for Grand River. She busts around a half and loves it, where there may be some of those big fillies that Grand River may be a deficit for them. It's not for her. So going into a gold event with a filly that has already proven she's good, it's already proven she's talented, now she's kind of going back home to a half-mile track. I think the ball's in our court going into that gold. So you are going to see, don't do that, you are going to see Grace qualify on Tuesday, little training mile on Saturday, and then off to the gold at Grand River the following Tuesday. It's a good setup, I think, and it makes a lot of sense to have her that way. You know, don't forget about some of the other horses that are racing well also. We had some misfortune with Massive Profit the other night. Nobody's fault. I didn't see the race because my phone kept glitching. In Columbus, the service isn't really great on your phone, and I couldn't watch the race live, but I got to see the video later on. It was just a matter of circumstance, to be honest. Had the 10 hole behind the 1 and the 2 and the 10 kind of got them all drug out of the race, and it's impossible. You're closing into a 156 and a piece mile, 6th wheeling out 5 wide across the track. Certainly wasn't Trace's fault. The horse did what he could. Now, at 8 to 5, if he's got the 6, 7, 8 hole, even the 9 hole, he can put him in play. You know, he can put that horse in play, and I think we're 1, 2, 3. But 10 hole, I told Brian Hockman, too, one of our clients, I said, I don't care with trailing post. I do now. He was right and I was wrong. It really swallowed us up. And but I think there's a horse that's going to be a top flight trotter in Indiana all season long. We Bomb Hugger, who's undefeated in the New York Sires, 1 for 1, undefeated in her parimutuel life. There's a real...
What does that mean?
What's that?
Undefeated.
It means she's never been beat.
In what?
In racing. Ever. She's 2 for 2. Never been beat.
Like that horse that you told me about.
Yeah. So, Bomb Hugger, New York, right? Pennsylvania, don't kid yourself. Tie one on. I don't know if she's a Sire Stake or a Stallion Series filly just yet. She trained like a rocket ship this week at Northfield. She'll be racing Thursday at the Meadows, prepping for a week later for the Arden. Now, after the Arden, which is open stakes event, we'll be able to tell, are we going back to the Pennsylvania Sires? Are we going to head for the Stallion? Either way, there's no denying she's a very, very talented filly. So we got Bomb Hugger in New York. We got a ton of talent here in Ohio. I could go over them, but you guys know who they are. The fillies and colts that raced last night, fine. I think what you're going to see is a horse like Sweet on Pete race 1 or 2 more Buckeyes and also head for a Sire Stakes. Don't kid yourself. This thing's a monster also. I really, really like this filly. We haven't seen the best from Isa 10 yet this year. Is it a maturity thing? Is she going to need more time? Are we going to have to tinker with her more? Maybe. Yep, that's possible. But we got lots of time throughout the year. So Ohio, we're stacked. Even in Ontario. This is our best year ever in Ontario. We may have just sold Mischievous Rose, but we still got Grace, who Grace raced in the gold. Mischievous Rose won a Grassroots. Good for her. Grace has been racing in the gold and has already shown she's gritty and iron tough. So Grace is in the gold. Renegade Gypsy is in the gold. Tipsy and Dixie continues to dominate in her divisions of the Grassroots. I'm just super, super pumped about her. Then you look at So Admirable, 3-year-old New York filly. Crushed them in 54 the other day at Saratoga. Super pumped about So Admirable. And what about our girl Globetrotting? I said it, I continue to say it. Might be the best horse I ever had. This filly is second in 52-2 at the Poconos. She has got first over nonetheless. She has got a big, big racing career ahead of her, and I cannot wait to see and follow her. I saw that, honey. It's okay. I can't. Yeah, we're gonna wait. I cannot wait to see this mare race the rest of the year. Now, it is worth noting, and I'll continue to note, especially after having a good run. I do want to put together an Ohio group. I'm still trying to put together. Now, this will be an Ohio group. What I would like to do is put together $250,000. I'll be completely upfront with everybody. I want to put together $250,000, and that pot of money, those people that put that money in, will own 70% of every horse we buy out of Ohio this year. I think it's the best move. I think it's the way to go for us, and I'm super excited to work on it with a number of our clients. I mean, this is an opportunity for me to change the dynamic, reduce my stress level of the stable, and not the overall operating model. I still think having open ownership where we can move shares around, that is a given. That's why I said 70%. If we have 30% open to the stable.ca market to move around as they please, great. But when it comes to Ohio, this is our stomping ground right now. This is where we do our best. This is our bread and butter, and I think I would like to go to the sale with the confidence to buy the horses that we want. That doesn't mean I want to go and buy sale toppers and spend 106 figures on. That isn't it at all. But I want to be able to go to the sale and say, okay, stress-free, I know I got $250,000 right there to buy horses. So I'd love to hear from you. I've already heard from a number of our clients about this, and I appreciate your input. It is, Ollie, it is super, super important, and I can't thank you enough. The sales are coming soon. The first big one for us is the biggest one for us of the year, which is Ohio. So let's see how that goes. So reach out. I continue to take in your Oliver and Ava, or Addie. I continue to save and look at what you're saying, how you're saying it, and then we'll structure that group around a lot of the input that I get. So that is what I want to do. That's what's up right now. Super happy about my brother Mark winning the Meadowlands Pace. The run that James is on is exceptional in Canada. Very proud of him and happy with what is going on right here in Ohio. So that is your opening. I'm just really, really happy today. But he did. He won the Meadowlands Pace, yeah.
Did he get the big trophy?
He got the huge trophy. You got a picture of it. So,
can we see it after?
Yes, I can show it to you after. So that is your opening. I hope everybody had a great week. I just don't know how you couldn't. Hey, Oliver, don't do that again. I don't know how you couldn't have had a great week. I know I did. Last night was special for the stable, special for my family, and a great night of racing all around. It's not done yet. We got racing here tonight, or not here tonight, yes. Yes, it's got the outside. Obviously, I'm going to have to duck him. Stonebridge Simba, we'll play that one by ear at the gate. Then we have the Grassroots Colts coming up, the Grassroots Filly coming up. We got fairs coming up. We have a huge week ahead of us again. A lot of fun. Big summer. Off to a great start here at thestable.ca. I hope you're having fun. I know I am. Take care.